Hi, Derek.
And I'd like to welcome you all to the sunny Bahamas, the country of 700 islands.
And a million tourists.
That's right.
I have that
Actually,
shirt.
we have the pleasure of catering to some 5.5 million tourists every year.
Part of a steamer, but this port never saw no action. We have 3 cannon guns here, right, and 2 small. These are not the original cannon gun. They say the real set was shipped out to England. To be. Anybody want to go inside, take a picture, I'll shut the gate and lock the door. I don't have no key. The second one here, this is called the heating room. They'll heat the cannonball, put them in the cannon, fire out the ship. When they hit the ship, it burn it down, you know what they call it? Hot shot, great balls of fire. They keep the guns and the ammunition. But the groove marks on the wall, most of the rocks are limestone. Get your cameras ready. We're going to take it. So you win some or you lose some. Where you see that great building there, built in 1969. That's where you're supposed to let them get your mail. They don't get our mail to our house. We go to the post office. This is where the
6 the British pound, and then we convert it to the Bahamian dollar. So today we take the US currency and the Bahamian money, 1 to 1. Tourism is the #1 source of income here in the Bahamas, followed by banking and financial services. So those are the 2 main industries here in the Bahamas.
There's no big export?
No major export other than oregonite, salt, and that's it. Now, right over here, we see the registrar or the Bahamas Treasury building. Over to the left, the Royal Bahamas Police Force's headquarters, established by the British in the year 1840. The colors of our national flag, the aquamarine, black and gold. The aquamarine at the top of the flag represents the beautiful skies up above when the weather is good. The aquamarine at the bottom represents the beautiful waters of the Bahamas. The gold represents the sunshine, and the black represents the strength and unity of its people.
Has it always been the flag, or was it only the flag since, what, 73, since the independence?
Since 73, that's when the flag was established. Other than that, the Union Jack was the flag that we hoist. We see what is known as the Central Bank of the Bahamas. The Central Bank of the Bahamas is responsible for the governance of all the banking institutions throughout the entire islands of the Bahamas. We have some 450 banking and trust companies here in the Bahamas. Just over here to the left, St. Andrew's Presbyterian Kirk, established in 1810. These pink walls surrounds the governor's mansion. The governor's mansion, the governor general's mansion, was built around the mid-1800s. Our governor general today is an 85-year-old female. Now, a lot of times people think that the governor general is the person who runs the country. No. In the parliamentary system,
Prime Minister.
sorry?
Prime Minister.
Absolutely. You're quite right.
Took a guess.
Then you have a
On the steps of the mansion, we see a statue of Christopher Columbus. It represents the fact that he came by here in 1492, landed on one of our islands called San Salvador, That's where he met the original inhabitants of these islands. They were known as the Arawak Indians. They've been coming here to the Bahamas from around the turn of the 9th century from South America, very often being chased by a group of people we know as the Caribs. Now, just over here to the left, this is the Bahamas National Arts Gallery. And of course, this building is very old as well. The Bahamas government purchased that a few years ago and did a massive renovation on it. Of course, it was an old rundown building like so many other buildings here in the Bahamas. In the Nassau area. But they spent a considerable amount of $1 million on that and had it renovated, and now it's known as the Bahamas National Arts Gallery.
Why is the Bahamas such a big place for banking?
Why?
Yeah.
Because it's located right outside the gates of America, and we offer tax free.
Gotcha.
We're gonna give you a little tour of the John Watling's Distillery, and gonna be here for a few minutes. We're gonna give you a little tour of the distillery. This is the Ignis Cemetery, and it's one of the oldest cemeteries on the island. And right over there, the tombstone that says Pinling. That's the father of our nation, the late Sir Lyndon Oscar Pinling. Led us to independence in '73. He died in the year 2000. Sir Lyndon Oscar Pinling, father of the nation, first Bahamian Prime Minister. Now, my friends, the average temperature here in the Bahamas is about 70 degrees Fahrenheit at winter. At summer, the temperature rises to an average of about 85 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, that's not too bad.
We also have the advantage of the warm waters of the Gulf Stream and the cooling winds of the Northeast Trade. It makes our climate very conducive year-round. This would be in the area of what we call the low-budget income residential.
With Chase.
7 miles wide, 21 miles long is the size of the approximate size of this island, New Providence. And of course, even though we have 700 islands, there are only 31 of these islands in the Bahamas that are inhabited. The others are dormant. But right over here is Fort Charlotte. Fort Charlotte is the biggest fort here in the Bahamas. It was built in the year 1787. This is about 3 forts in one right here. Fort Charlotte, Fort Darcy, and Stanley. That's the name of these 3 forts in one.
Did they ever see war?
Never, never. In other words, the forts built for the purpose it was designed for and was quite successful in warding off anybody who would try to take over these territories by the British. Owned by the British at that time. Would you guys like to stop, or would you just like to keep riding?
I'm okay with keeping going.
All right.
Okay. Or conch shell.
We could find those somewhere else too.
Going on the beach at home.
This is a good overview of the harbor. Your boat would have come right through that little cut right there,
Lighthouse.
in between the fort, the lighthouse and the rocks over there.
They must have a channel like canal on a walk. How much of that ship is underwater?
Has anybody ever seen an almond tree?
No.
Here we have it. This is an almond tree right here. Yep.
Where the almonds?
No almonds on it because it isn't. Oh, well, you see one or two small ones right up there. But when they are ripe, they turn yellow or blossom yellow. And for the most part, they drop on the ground. Some kids will come and, as kids, we ate a lot of them.
I like acorns.
And the almonds is one of such. When the fruit is ripe, you can eat the skin off the fruit. It's very tasty once it's ripe. And then whenever the seed hits the ground, it rots. And then you're able to take the seed, crack it open, and there's the nut.
I didn't know almonds grow on trees.
Yeah.
Yes.
I never thought
So
of that.
that's where you get the fruit nut from. Fruit and nut.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, I like the Cadbury fruit or not.
Carol likes the Cadbury fruit and nut.
You notice the many different colorations in the water?
Yes. Yeah.
In many instances, that's caused by a direct reflection of the sky, and in most cases what lies beneath the water, such as the coral reef, the seaweed, the sand. In many cases, they give off a different coloration.
And the kraken.
Now, of course, it's quite effective on a bright sunny day. On a bright sunny day here in the Bahamas, you are able to see a multiplicity of different colors in the water. Over here to the left, this area is called Clifford Park, and that's where we host Independence Day celebration.
Look, more cabins.
It gets started at about 10 p.m. on the eve of the day that the independence, complete with fireworks, government workers such as the police officers, defense force officers, customs and immigration. They put on a big parade out there.
What date is your independence?
Sorry?
What date?
July 10th.
Oh, right after hours.
Yep. After the July 4th.
Oh, okay.
Right over here, this place is called Haynes Oval, this little park right here, and that's where we host that's where we host national sports.
Okay.
And that's called cricket.
Oh,
Cricket.
Cricket is the national
No idea how
sport.
that game is played.
it's confusing, but it's
They used to
amazing.
play that in the Brooklyn Parkland. It looks
Now,
funny.
right over here, my friends, this is an area known as Heritage Village officially. The locals and the tourists simply refer to it as the fish fry.
Yeah.
And that's where we go to enjoy indigenous Bahamian dishes. And a typical Bahamian dish here in the Bahamas would be a plate of peas and rice, some grouper, or we eat a lot of snapper, or conch. Yeah.
I'd like to try conch down here. I had it in Florida. It was horrible.
You said it was horrible in Florida?
Yeah, it was terrible. They made it bad.
Okay, that's because you probably don't get it fresh in some places.
Yeah, it was very rubbery.
Right. Well, generally, conch is rubbery, but it needs to be cooked a particular way for it to be right. Rubbery and right.
Rubbery, right?
Yeah.
They do a lot of grouper.
Grouper, yeah. Very
Love
typical.
grouper.
Carol loves grouper.
We have
They were running from.
well, we do have a very strong American influence on us here in the Bahamas as far as the fast food is concerned. KFC, McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's.
Oh, that's too bad.
We got them all here.
I could have given him my coupon for McDonald's now.
Upper middle class residential. And homes in this area can very easily
That's pretty
be sold up to a cost of about $400,000
Oh, wow.
in many, many cases. An average of about 280 up to about 400,000.
Wow.
The modern homes nowadays are being built out of block, steel, and concrete, just like they are in Florida, to protect against the hurricanes.
How much do rents go for down here?
Rent in an area like this, an average of about 1,000 to about 1,500 a month. And that's the typical two-bedroom. One bath.
Bedroom, one bath.
Kind of like that one.
I just said that's pretty.
Carol just said that's pretty.
We can split it and get one.
You guys get to see any of the golden coconuts in Florida?
No.
That's the yellow coconuts, not the green ones.
We probably look past them.
Oh, okay.
One
Which you all know that coconuts are some of the best nuts in the world, right?
Yeah.
Most healthiest too.
Hi.
That's some of the kind of damages that we seen here in the Bahamas after Matthew.
Yeah, we got some by us too.
Roof damage, for the most part.
Well, that's pretty house.
That looks like my Jeep.
Yeah.
Except the paint's still on them.
Yeah.
Just take all your receipts to the
Yeah,
airport.
okay. Go to Heathrow and go try and do that.
This area, my friends, is known as Cable Beach. Cable Beach boasts of a state-of-the-art golf course, sandy white beaches,
Like,
luscious green gardens, condominiums, hotels, restaurants,
that's
shopping.
pretty.
This area is sometimes referred to as the Bahamian Riviera. Just here to the left, we see the office of the Prime Minister.
Hi. Why don't you wave? Carol says hi.
Carol says hi.
Now, my friends, you see this hotel here?
That the Radisson?
No, it's not.
No?
It's called the Bahama. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's been in the news a lot lately here in the Bahamas. This hotel was supposed to have been open last year, April. It is 97% complete at this moment. There were more than 6,000 staff members in training for the opening.
Wow.
And it has not opened yet because it was in bankruptcy. It was constructed by the Chinese construction company, China Construction Company.
Your Chinese drywall?
Sorry?
Does it have Chinese drywall?
Oh yeah, everything was done by the Chinese. But of course,
I'm staying there.
Jocelyn
it was
says it has
sabotaged
Chinese
to a
drywall.
degree, And the person who was investing most of the money with the Chinese.
Oh, it's a
in it,
high-end.
you know, they fell out and they had some disagreement, and it's right here, just sitting here.
But they're not working on it at all right now. It's just totally,
It's just sitting here right now. They're trying
Let's
to
buy it.
buy it.
you want to throw a bid in?
Yeah, let's do it.
And that is owned by a gentleman by the name of Chris Blackwell. Well, we call it owned, but it's actually really leased to a gentleman by the name of Chris Blackwell. Now, Chris Blackwell is a music mogul, and he was responsible for bringing Bob Marley to stardom.